so what we're hearing right now is the vein. As you guys can hear, it gets loud and then goes down. I'm not moving the probe, so you can hear it, and it's getting now slightly louder, louder. And that's how drainage is. You can hear it getting slightly louder. So that's a vein right there. So what we're trying to do is you feel the tibia, I apologize, the fibular head, and you want to hear some of those perforators, which are little tiny arteries. I can hear them in the background. Right there. So that's one of them. You can hear them here clearly. So this is our last point. You don't want to go beyond that for island flaps. So that's the last one. So if it's right there, it's coming up this way, I can hear it. Good, so that's number 2. I would mark these right there, so this would be 1, this would be 2, and usually the third should be around this area. But nonetheless, I can hear it right there. You guys can hear it? Excellent. So this is, yep, that's the third. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And so what we're trying to do is basically get an island of tissue with its fat, skin and fat. And so what I usually do, so this is number 3, right? So you can go to the last one. Usually you want to keep one alive to keep bringing blood flow. So in this situation, you would go to number 2 rather than number 1. So this is my quote unquote last area to go down to. So then I bring my finger, and I bring my finger. So I need 2 fingers. Can you see the bottom? Bring it up. So you can see the hole, right? Of the bottom of the heel. So my finger and my finger. So this is number 1. This is number 2. These are the arteries. So this is where here, this is, I usually use the ruler from the operating room. And so this is the last point. So I need 2 fingers from my finger. So 1, 2. Can you see my fingers? Right, excellent. So I can cheat a little bit up to here, which is good. And then I said, well, how big is that? Just right now we're doing hypotheticals. But in the operating room, obviously it's going to be exact and precise. So we've got my finger as well. So I put my finger. And so that would be a circle. Can you guys see it from up there? Can you see it? So that would be a circle. And you really want to go a little bit like a centimeter extra than what you already measured. These do contract, like skin grafting flaps do contract. And this is called the cutaneous island flap. Some people call it reverse sural flap. And so nonetheless, you would take this guy, whole island. You got to tie the vessels, obviously, the blood vessels up here, which are the veins, and take this whole piece as one unit and keep it on its pedicle, all this base. The return and the blood that's coming through it has to survive. And you dissect around it, and you drag it, and you drag it. And we said the last one we can go, the last is number 2, if you remember. And at this stage, I would have to flip it a little bit on itself and lay it downwards. And you obviously cut the skin, and you bury it underneath the skin, and you cover the skin, and this has to be skin grafted. This has to be skin grafted. And so basically we're taking a piece of skin, following it down the pedicle with the return, with the veins, and you're slicing the skin. So let's recap. You have to listen to the arteries, the perforators, and make sure which is number 1, number 2, number 3, and see which ones the more blood flow, the better you are. So you really want to keep 1 or 2. In this situation, we will keep 1 and 2. We know from 2 to here is 1 finger length, and another finger length. So we go from 2, we go up, and we do 2 finger lengths, so we know, because that's the length for rotation and to flap it down. And so we make a circle the same size, typically 1 centimeter bigger from the bottom one. And that's called a reverse island sural flap. And that should work very well for him. It will have nice depth, it will cover it, it will be leveled, and it would be great. So that's basically what we're looking at, to fill in the bottom of his heel and to give him the cushion that he needs. Then followed by, unfortunately, reconstruction, which would be a pan-talar fusion, which would be a fusion of his ankle and the back part of his foot, called the hind foot or rear foot. And usually I use the frame for that. But nonetheless, this is what I just wanted to show you guys. It's a different way and a different approach in regards to closures of the bottom parts of the heel. Thank you. Bye-bye.